What's up, guys? Straight from the chest. Welcome. My name is Justin Groth, and guys, we are at it again. Sunday edition. You know what that means? Cheat meal time, man. I'm ready. Guys, if you're uninitiated with this podcast, first I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for giving me your time. And this is a podcast that I gear towards essentially developing you. And there's multiple ways to develop a person. You understand that. And hopefully this podcast yields some elements that you can apply to your life with the things that I talk about. With that being said, there's a little bit of a caveat to that. It's not going to be everything you want to hear. But my job, or at least not my job per se, but my pursuit is to give you what I think you need to hear. And I don't know if you can tell, and if you're not watching this video and you're just listening on iTunes or Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever portal you're listening from, there is a smile on my face when I introduce myself. And that's not an act. And I don't know why that even exists, to be honest with you, because there's been multiple days where I've been feeling like shit and I get on here and automatically I light up and I can't describe it other than I feel like I'm worth something when I'm on here. And maybe some of you feel that same way. There's something that you probably do in life that you just feel worth more when you do it. And you can't describe that feeling, but you chase that pursuit. You chase it because you don't know anything better. You don't know where to put your energy into anything, or you don't know where to put your energy in that's going to serve you better. This is what serves you, right? So you continue to do it. And because of that, it's like a constant reciprocation of positive energy. And I don't mean that, frivolously, like, positive energy. I'm talking, there's something that goes on, from an electron level or a neuron level, or from a biochemical standpoint. There's something that goes on or is happening inside your body when you're doing something that you feel gives you more worth. And you keep doing it, rightfully so. So I guess what my question is now, why do you stop doing that? Most of the time we stop is because we think that there's something that's going to be on the other side, that's going to yield positive or reward for us. Because we're looking to get something out of it too. And I'm not saying you can't get something out of what you're doing, but sometimes it doesn't happen that fast. But the thing that's going to drive you is going to be that constant zeal that you feel every time you do that certain particular thing. And you know that it's true when it's authentic and it's not an act. I take that back. I can get in front of you and I can act. But for some reason, there's something there's a light switch that goes on, turns on when I get on this particular microphone, do this particular podcast, this particular thing to my life. I feel like I'm worth more. And because I feel like I'm worth more, I have to chase that. If I don't, I'm not being myself. And what are you living for? You're living to hopefully find and extract the particular thing that sets you on fire, that ignites you, that makes you feel like you're worth more. And you may feel like right now, maybe you're in the other tunnel, and you feel like I'm not worth a lot right now. I don't feel like I don't belong. And the answer to that is not, let's get more love for each other. Let's get more self-love. Like, that's not the answer. You understand that love is going to be the byproduct of when you feel like, for yourself, in regards to yourself, love is going to happen when you detect and identify your truth and meaning in life. Then you begin to gather up confidence and esteem and all those things you can't put a ticket on, or you can't really clarify in your life, but you know that they're there. Those things that are abstract. But that happens when you do the thing that gives you ignition. But that's not going to come easy, man. That's going to be hard to find, and it's going to actually bring about you it's going to bring about you a different path that may be uncharted. And you may not have anybody with you to go there with. You may be all alone. But there's something you can't deny about that feeling. You cannot, it doesn't go away. Like, this feeling doesn't just dissipate and bleed into thin air. And then 2, you can't help but do it because you feel like if you don't, there's a void missing. There's a void in your life. And guys, this is something that is paramount to your existence. You may not see it now, but this is developing the character to which you're going to be able to stand on both legs with in the future and be able to be confident and stand tall and say, this is who I am, man. But it's not going to come from you just saying, well, I just got to develop more love for myself. And no, maybe you're not worth it right now, and that's on purpose. Maybe you need to develop what it takes to become worth. Because you're not at this position. If you're sitting on your ass and you're not doing anything with you're not worth anything. You need to make yourself worth something. And that doesn't come by just getting a 9 to 5. I mean, in circumstances, there might be some circumstances where yes, that's a part of the equation. But you're gathering responsibility. At the foundative standpoint, you're gathering responsibility. You're showing yourself what you're made of. You're developing confidence in that regard, and then there's an element that presents itself that you say, you know what, I'm going to go for that just a little bit because I know I can do this over here, and this seems really worth it over here. Like, I kind of like that. I'm drawn to that, so let me just take a stab at it. And you take a stab at it, and maybe you fail, but that's okay because then you realize that, well, what I did to do that didn't work because I failed, but let me try this, and let me do this differently. And then you take a stab at it again, and then maybe you fail again, but then there's one stab that you take that you succeed. And the process is called the pursuit. So you keep drilling in that process because it's a part of you. It becomes a part of you. And it's something that gives you zeal and almost like an innate draw and gratitude that you cannot describe. It's like having faith. You don't understand what faith is. We can't dissect that. It is a certainty in the unknown, right? It's having a certainty in the uncertain events that are yet to happen in your life. And there's something that happens when you develop zeal for something, or you identify the zeal. You can't understand why it's happening. You can't put a claim against, you cannot put a definition around it. But it's something that you feel that you cannot not do. It's like it's biologically inculcated within you. And you cannot let it go. And that's good. But the process to get there, to even see what that is lengthy. The process to even feel that and to be a part of that magnificent process, that's lengthy. But once you get there, don't you fucking quit, man. Because it's you that's on the line. And it's not just you, I should say, it's everybody around you that's going to actually be infiltrated by your glorious, magnificent spirit in the process of what you're doing, that's creating such a propensity to be your best. And they're going to be able to actually gather value from it. So really, let me reflect back to what I said. It's not just you. It's everybody around that's going to be affected because you're so good at what you're doing and you're in such a magnificent spot. And you're touching on the elements that only most dream of. that is something that is worth the pursuit of your entire life. Because one day, man, one day you're going to open a door that you've only dreamed about. One day. One day. It takes one day for your whole life to change. One day. You know those days you're on autopilot and you wake up and you do your thing, you work, you go to the gym maybe, you go to walk the dogs, you come back home, eat dinner, you go to bed. On that day, your life could change. It takes one day, but it takes a whole plethora of months or years in the pursuit for that one day that changes everything. But everything changes. And it's that pursuit you're after. You're going through this life anyway. You're going to bleed and get cut anyway. So you might as well get cut and bleed for things that you derive meaning and truth and purpose around.